Hello, my name is Shawn Jansen. I'm joined by Shawn Lynch, and this is the Shawn and Shawn Show. Well, after this week, everybody will be in league play, and we're halfway through the season.
Yeah, officially the midway point. Looks like we got some tight league races in some of the smaller leagues, and we're excited to see what the CCC is going to produce this week.
All right. I stopped out to talk to Merced coach Rob Scheidt and Atwater coach Bob Valladao prior to the 45th Santa Fe Bowl. We'll hear from them later, but before we get to last week's games and a look ahead, here's the sights and sounds from last week.
Where the ball?
Come on, Sanchez.
Run it, run! 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 Run!
There you go, there you go, there you go! Touchdown!
Let's go, Bulldogs!
Come out again, what?
Take it deep.
And a pass complete to Victor Martinez. Martinez takes it across the...
All right, let's take a look at last week's games. A lot of teams were on bye, so we didn't have a lot of action, but maybe one of the big games. St. Mary's coming to Atwater to face Buhack. St. Mary's wins that one 45-30. You were there. What were your impressions from the game? What did you take away from it?
It wasn't like when Buhack faced St. Mary's a few years ago in the playoffs, and you know, as the first time Buhack was getting in the playoffs, and they really didn't have a chance. They definitely had a chance in this one. They had a good game plan. They executed it for the most part in the first half, running 33 plays to St. Mary's 14. Unfortunately, with all the yards they accumulated, with all the time of possession they had, they didn't punch the ball into the end zone, and they could not stop St. Mary's from doing that. I think after Hunter Stephanie recorded a safety on St. Mary's first possession, St. Mary's went on I want to say it was 7 straight scoring possessions in a row, and Buhack defense just couldn't get off the field. Too much speed, too many good athletes, and Buhack really did a poor job of tackling that night.
Big Hail Mary at the end of the first half to kind of give St. Mary's some separation.
Right, I think it made it 19-7 at that point in time. So you go into the halftime, or not 7. They only had 2. But you go into halftime trailing 12-2. You're feeling pretty good about yourselves. You did a lot of what you needed to do. You just need to finish some drives off. But yeah, that Hail Mary right at the half, that definitely hurt going in, and then St. Mary's basically marched down the field on their opening possession in the second half, and I want to say it was a 4-play swing where they only needed 2 plays to score on their first drive. Buhack fumbles the ball right back to them, and they need 2 more plays to score on the next drive, and it was all pretty much over after that. Buhack does a nice job at least fighting to make it competitive in the end. The older Stephanie, Justin, so his name escapes me. All I can think of was Hunter. Justin Stephanie gets in for a pair of scores. Stefan Eastman scores on a 22-yard nice run there. They did a good job fighting back, but they really kind of killed themselves in the first half and didn't give themselves a good chance to win.
Nathan Duran throws for over 200 yards, but
just short.
Just short of 200 yards.
He's on pace. If he doesn't take a blow to a knee on his last touchdown pass, he probably crosses that threshold. According to his dad afterwards, he was okay. I saw him up walking around on the knee, so they weren't super concerned. It doesn't appear there were any ligaments torn or anything like that, so you can expect him out there on Friday night. I mean, it was a good, solid showing by Buhack, but they kind of killed their opportunity to win, is I guess how I want to put it.
I went out and checked out LeGrand. First time I've seen the Bulldogs this year under Raul Alvarez. Big game for them, beating Ripon Christian 15-14 to improve to 2-0 in league. Two tough games right out of the gate for them in the Southern League.
Yeah, 4 total points decided in their first 2 victories.
Yeah, they beat Gustine the week before, I think by 3 points, and then Ripon Christian. Interesting game because LeGrand started out first possession. Their running back Carlos Iniguez busts out a 69-yard touchdown run. He runs for 170 yards and scores both times for them in the game. But they get 77 yards on their first 3 plays, and then the rest of the first half they did nothing. They actually moved backwards. I think 17 plays, minus 12 yards for the end of the first half. Defensively, they were just getting torn apart by Bill Maher, the Ripon Christian quarterback. I was really impressed with him. He threw a good ball. First half, I think he was 12 of 17 for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Looked like he could run a little bit, too.
He's real athletic. And Ripon Christian, I mean, they only had, I think, 18 guys suited, but it was the kind of thing where all 18 guys play, kind of like where you look at Chowchilla and what they're doing. So LeGrand made some nice adjustments at halftime. They come out that first possession, drive down the field, and Iniguez scores from 19 yards out to give them the lead. And then their defense did a much better job. They started getting some pressure on Maher. He wasn't as comfortable. They started playing better on the receivers, so they weren't running free. So a good job by them. Big win for them. And just I was impressed with how they adjusted there in the second half.
Big fumble down the stretch to kind of seal the victory.
Yeah, Joe Gonzalez makes a nice play. The safety comes in on a blitz, and Maher never saw him. Comes in for the sack fumble. It's recovered by Mauricio. I believe Ramirez to kind of secure the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we've seen that LeGrand's going to have to grind these games out. They've gone over 100 yards rushing the last 2 games. Iniguez, he got banged up towards the end of the game, so we're going to have to hope he's healthy.
I texted Raul Alvarez to ask him about his status for this week. He says he's good. I assume that means good to go, so I think he'll be on the field this week for them.
So now they got Delhi, and then I think they get Denair, and then they got a big one with Delhi, and then Waterford, and then a big one with Orastemba. Yeah, so they get a chance to get some momentum going here.
Yeah, I think they'll get better as the season goes offensively. Their 2 big ones left are going to be against Orastemba and then Mariposa. So, but they're sitting. I think they've got the driver's seat right now with these 2 wins out of the gate because I think Gustine's going to be tough for everybody, and Ripon Christian's going to be tough. So to get 2 wins over that team, puts the Bulldogs in a good spot.
All right, Livingston, big come from behind victory over Ceres last week. It was looking shaky for the Wolves for a little while.
Yeah, they were down big in the first half. I don't know what they did to turn it around, but it was fast and furious, and then they score in the final minutes to kind of get that win.
Yeah, Mejia with a big touchdown run. I thought I'd put the whammy on him for a while with the story that came out that week. Mariposa wins big. Another tough loss for Dos Palos.
Yeah, they go into Kerman comes to the extra game. Yeah, and Kerman gets the win there. I mean, Kerman, I think, had come in. They were 3-1 or 4-1 at the time, so kind of no big surprise there. And Dos Palos was banged up, and they weren't gonna put their injured players out there. They wanted to put their focus on league coming up this week. So
Stone Ridge moves closer to the playoffs with a win on Saturday. Gustine keeps winning. Gustine looks like they're a playoff-bound team this year. So getting tight in some of in the WAC and the Southern League could be fun finishes the rest of the way.
Yeah, and this week the CCC gets underway. Like I said before, here's Rob Scheidt and Bob Valladao talking about the 45th Santa Fe Bowl. All right, we're here with Atwater coach Bob Valladao. You guys getting ready for the 45th Santa Fe Bowl. We're actually filming you away from practice because you didn't want to give away any secrets on the show. Talk about how special is the Santa Fe Bowl for your guys' side.
Well, I think it's just always it's always a good contest. Merced's always well prepared, and it's always nice to play them. So I know some guys that the rivalry kind of gone away, but I think for some reason every year it always seems to get hyped up. So it's always fun.
You guys coming off the bye week, how big was it getting the win over Sobrado heading into the bye?
It was just nice to get a win after playing that schedule. So hopefully we can build on it, and it can help us out this week.
What positives did you guys take from playing that brutal non-conference schedule?
Well, we faced some good competition that we'll see in league, and so I think it kind of exposed areas that we need to work on, and hopefully it pays off. We'll see. But we had to move some things around. The bad part is we lost a couple players, and that's the nature of football. But we're hoping to come out healthy and out of it, or we didn't. But hopefully in the long run it'll help us out.
Talk about facing Merced and the weapons they have. What concerns you looking at them on film?
You got to defend the field. When their offense is out there, they can run, they can throw. Defense, they're aggressive and they're fast, and so we got to be able to play well and not make any mistakes, because they'll capitalize on it.
All right. Well, good luck on Friday.
All right, thanks.
We're here with Merced coach Rob Scheidt. You guys just finished up practice. 45th Santa Fe Bowl. How special is this matchup, this rivalry for you guys?
I mean, it's great. I think anytime you play someone geographically as close as Atwater, and then obviously in the same district and the history that we have, it makes for a great contest. I think this is what high school football is about, and I know our guys are excited to get back on the gridiron. So.
You guys are coming off a big win against Clovis North that happened prior to the bye week. How big was getting that win heading into league for you guys?
Well, we hadn't beat them. I think that's probably one of the biggest things, and so it feels good to get that kind of off our backs. But at the same time, the type of win that we had was a little bit different than what we're used to. We had to kind of grind things out, have a special team score, a special team set up a score, defense playing really well at the end of the game. Those are things that we just haven't done this year, and it was nice to be in that kind of game.
With the guys you guys have coming back this year, you guys were kind of the preseason pick to win the CCC. I don't think anything's changed after the first 5 games. Is that a role you guys are comfortable in as the favorite going in?
What I've been telling our guys is that, as great as last year's achievements were, and some of them had the opportunity to participate in our conference championship, we haven't earned anything. So what I want our guys to be is hungry and ready to go, and to understand that as you're kind of the target for everyone to shoot after, kind of like Buhack was last year, you gotta raise your game. And so we know that we're a target right now, and Atwater is going to give us their best Friday night.
What are going to be the keys against Atwater on Friday?
I think probably the biggest thing for us is just possessing the football. If we don't turn the ball over, at least in our previous games, we've won the game. And so we want to do that first, possess the football. Secondly, play great defense. Find a way to get off the football field on 3rd and 4th down. That's been kind of our Achilles heels in the games that we've lost, and if we can do that, I think we'll have a good shot at winning.
All right. Well, good luck on Friday night.
Thanks, Shawn.
All right, let's go ahead and take a little preview, little glimpse at what we see the CCC shaping up. Let's start with those two teams. Merced obviously still the favorite, the defending champs, and they played pretty well in the non-conference against a tough schedule.
Yeah, I think getting that win over Clovis North was big for them. Big confidence boost, beating a good team, because they were right in the games with Clovis West and Edison. Well, Edison, they came back and made it a game late, but they get that signature win. 3 weeks ago, after Turlock beat Clovis West, it was kind of, is Merced still the team? But I think Merced has proven that. Turlock's dropped a couple games. Pittman's undefeated at 4-0, but we haven't seen him. We don't really know.
That
we'll
tough
get a
non-conference schedule.
Yeah, I mean, they got a win over Lincoln. That's Lincoln's a decent
not as
team.
good as usual, and they got a win over Downey, and Downey's solid, so probably not a bad team.
Yeah, and we'll find out this week when they play Buhack.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think it's going to come between Merced and Buhack Colony when they play. I would put those two at the top.
I would agree. I think what everybody remembered coming into the year and really thought about this Merced attack was, they got 3 excellent receivers and Young and Stewart and Camper, And then, they got a D1 prototype kind of quarterback in Tyrone Williams. But what's really impressed me is that run game.
Yeah,
Averaging 8.2 yards per game. And as good as Bird is, I mean, he's not even getting all the touches. Gilliam's had a nice yards per average. Burnett's doing well. Like, they're pretty much very efficient all the way around on offense. And I think that's going to be tough for any CCC team.
Yeah, and what we heard from Scheidt earlier just comes down to turnovers. If they possess the ball, good things are going to happen. I don't think any team's held them under 30 points so far this year, and I don't know if anybody in the CCC is going to do that. I think you can see 4 teams from the CCC make the playoffs here because you got 4 teams coming in with winning records.
Yeah.
It just depends on how everything shakes out. You can't avoid a hiccup against Atwater and Golden Valley because those other 4 teams are all going to be fighting for a title.
All right, let's talk about 1A then, and Buhack, who's also had a pretty nice non-conference schedule and impressed both of us in their showings.
Yeah, they got the thing about when you play Buhack, you have to stop that inside run game with Justin Stefani. If you can do that, I don't think they're as dangerous with their fly sweeps and running to the outside. I know Duran threw for over 200 yards, but I'd much rather force Buhack into throwing situations if I'm playing them.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I personally feel like Justin has to touch the ball more. Mm-hmm. Like, he's only getting about 12 carries a game, yet he's averaging like 10 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. I know they love to spread the ball around. I know it's the whole purpose of the fly offense, but I feel like if teams really clamp down and try to stuff him, that's going to open it up for Eastman, that's going to open up for Sherman, that's going to open it up for Gutierrez on the counters and the fly sweeps, and I think they're going to be a more effective team because of it. Nobody has slowed him down so far on the season.
Yeah, that's nice to say, but he's also playing a lot on defense too,
yeah.
So it's hard to say, all right, you're going to go up.
The team's leading tackler as well. Yeah. No, but he's averaging 12 carries a game, so maybe we bump that up to the 15 to 20 range. He doesn't have to be Schofield from a few years ago playing middle linebacker and carrying the ball 35 times a game. But I feel like if you can get those extra 5 to 7 touches, that's going to be a big difference for them.
Yeah, if they can do it and if you can handle it, I'm sure Justin would love it. But I think you got to watch out for him because that's going to hurt your defense the more you use them on offense, and they're going to have to stop people.
Fair enough.
We haven't seen the Turlock schools yet. One of us will see Turlock on Friday night. We'll see Pittman next week, so we'll get a better idea of those going forward.
Right. Hard to get a read on Turlock High this year.
They seem to be up and down.
They've been down. They've been all over the place. They got a pretty solid running back in Andrew Lopez, who's had some good games, some 100-yard games for him, and a new quarterback named Bubba Moreno.
Yeah. With Atwater and Golden Valley, those 2 teams can knock off somebody. Atwater's still strong defensively. Golden Valley's been competitive in a lot of their games. They just haven't been able to pull it out in the fourth quarter. So they're not just walkovers when you're going to play those 2 teams either.
No. Atwater's clearly just a young team, but the defense has kept them in every game so far, and they've had a really tough schedule as well. And they've been competitive in all those games pretty much except for Central Catholic. So you got to figure that the defense is going to give them shots, and if the offense can continue to develop. I was impressed with what I saw when I went out there. I like Frank Cosio as a quarterback. Big kid, throws a nice ball. He can run a little bit. It's not what they expect him to do, but he's got the athleticism to do it. Michael Vargas is running hard from them, junior tailback. They got the potential. What they need is to get their receivers healthy. Javier Valencia and Josh Wilson, they've been banged up. If they can get those guys back in to complement what Uribe's been doing, they become a little more potent offensively and maybe can knock some teams off here.
All right, let's go ahead and dive into the games this week. Let's start. Probably the best matchup is Buhack going to Pittman here. Buhack at 3-2, Pittman at 4-0.
Yeah. We don't even have any names. The kids on the Pittman team that have been doing anything. They've been tough to get info on, but they're 4-0. Historically, it doesn't matter if they play a soft non-conference schedule or not, and this one's a little tougher than it's been in years past. They come out, they do what they do well. The question is, are they going to be able to slow down Buhack and what they do well? Usually this one goes to the more physical team, and I've liked Buhack's physicality so far on the year.
Yeah, I like I like the way they finished against St. Mary's. You know, they're down big.
Yeah.
They didn't quit playing.
No, after that second touchdown to open the second half, I easily considered that they might just fold at that point in time, and they rallied together and they fought back. So that was good character for them.
And I liked what I saw when they played Clovis North. They were right in that game. I think they should have beat Clovis North except for a late turnover there. So I think Buhack can play with the upper teams in the CCC. I like them going on the road here. Like I said, I think it's going to come down to Merced and Buhack in the CCC, so I'm going with the Thunder.
Yeah, I'll go with the Thunder too. They went on the road a couple years ago, took this game, and kind of shocked everybody and threw themselves right back in it.
It's always tough beating those Turlock schools in Turlock.
Yeah, Joe Depley Stadium is not a fun place to play for a road team.
Let's go to the Santa Fe Bowl. Merced against Atwater. Merced coming in at 3-2. Atwater at 1-4.
It is hard to see Atwater's offense come that far along. It's nice that they got a win.
You just talked them up.
I did. But we got to see how healthy the receivers are. They were hoping to get them back. They got a win and a little momentum going into the last week's bye week. But as we said, I mean, Merced's offense is just a juggernaut, and if you turn the ball over against them, all of a sudden you'll find yourself down 2 or 3 scores, and they'll get out of what they want to do and not be able to catch back up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I see this game. Is I just don't see Atwater scoring enough points. Merced scored over 30. They're averaging about 40 points a game so far. Atwater hasn't scored that many.
Yeah, Atwater's got to have no turnovers, and they got to hit the big play when they get the chance, because as we all know, Merced will yield the big play. Mm-hmm. That's just part of this year's defense. So, you know, maybe they get a few shots and they can keep it competitive early, but I don't see them being able to hang for the long haul.
All right, Golden Valley against Turlock. Golden Valley 0-5, Turlock 3-2.
Well, Golden Valley's been fighters. They've kept themselves in pretty much every game. They've had a few unfortunate last-minute or fourth-quarter losses. And like we said, we don't know what to expect from Turlock. They've been all over the place so far on the non-conference schedule. So, where's this one being played?
It's at Veterans Day.
Obviously, at Pittman's at Turlock. Yeah, I still got to go Turlock here.
Why did it matter where to play?
Could have changed.
You like Golden Valley better if it was at Turlock?
Apparently not. Yeah, so we'll give Turlock. And I like the play of Isaiah Montanez so far. He's been a good, solid back in his first year on the varsity. His sophomores run hard, but I think Turlock probably gets the nod.
Yeah, I just think Turlock supposedly has this big offensive line. I think that's going to give an undersized Golden Valley some problems. I think Golden Valley's just going to struggle getting off the field here. So I like Turlock in this game. Big whack matchup. Livingston at 5-1. They're playing Pacheco at 4-2. Livingston's got home field advantage in this game. How do you see this one playing out?
I did the big story on them last week, but I think Pacheco's the favorites in the WAC for a reason. I think they deserve the nod. You know, they paid Buhack really competitive on the road a few weeks ago. I think for Livingston to have a chance here, their big lineman up the middle, the nose tackle, Justin Loro, he's going to have a big game, and their middle linebacker, Jesus Sierra, is going to have a big game, because if you can't stop the Pacheco run, you got no chance against them. So they're going to have huge games on defense, and then they're going to have to find a way to capitalize and score when they get the opportunity.
Yeah, it kind of surprised me the struggles that Livingston had last week against Ceres. Yeah. And if you're going to struggle against Ceres, it's going to be tough to pick you to win against Pacheco. I think Pacheco's kind of them and Patterson are kind of the class of this league. I like the way that Pacheco's playing. They're scoring a lot of points. They're physical on defense. I'm going to go with the Panthers in this one.
Think it'll be close?
I think it potentially could be close, because I don't think Pacheco throws the ball very well.
Yeah, and Livingston's done a nice job of keeping everybody nice and tight all the way through.
Yeah, so I think there's potential for this being, right down a 4-quarter game, but I like Pacheco by about 7 points.
That seems fair.
All right. That's going to do it for our show this week. Enjoy the games.